But I'm putting. I gotta laugh. I'm putting up to 1,500 shots a day, and shot so well all playoffs. Confidence extremely high, and to be having these unfortunate bounces and these looks that are just not going in, it's tough. It's tough for sure.
And kind of, what are you pretty positive in the locker room, trying to encourage everybody? Kind of, what's your mindset now as you try to not overcome a 3-0 deficit?
I mean, we ain't got nothing else to do. That's the only. We can't do nothing but be positive at this point. We can't be negative. So try to get one win at a time.
Where do you think the offense dried up the last 5 minutes?
We had good looks. We had a couple good looks. Missed them. The ball got stuck a couple times in my hands. Got to get off of it a little bit more, but yeah, we'll be all right.
And what is it about you that doesn't see a sky is falling when the sky appears to be falling?
I never think the sky's falling. I don't know. I'm always positive, always happy. Been through the worst, so the sky's never falling for me.
Mike and Kyle, you guys got some offensive rhythm going together in that kind of two-man game in the fourth quarter. What was working there that can kind of extend over to game 4?
Y'all can hear me? I thought we were just playing with a good pace. Like the ball wasn't sticky. Kind of playing with that 0.5 mentality where, 2 dribbles, get off it, hit the pocket, that guy makes a play. Normally it was Kyle. Finding guys and just moving without the ball. When we play that way, we're a tough team to kind of gauge where to be at, where to load up on, who to load up on. So if we can move the ball like that, continue to have that continuity on offense, I think it'll allow our offense just to have a little bit more effectiveness, especially late game and when we're pressing for buckets.
Kyle, it seemed tonight if you guys forced the ball out of Kyrie or Luka's hands, other guys were hitting shots early in the game, and then if you guard them straight up, they were hitting shots late. Just how tough has it been to defend these guys, especially in this game?
Yeah, those two are obviously really good shot makers, and when you get Derek Jones and P.J. Washington and a lot of those other guys playing as well as they did, they're tough to beat. So just got to figure out a way to slow both of them down, and Luka and Kyrie, and as well as those other guys too. They can't all play well like that. We have to pick and choose, and that's what we're going to do game 4.
Yeah, the dunk you had in the third quarter, did you feel at that time it maybe kind of galvanized the team a little bit? It seemed like it gave you guys a real shot in the arm at that time with the way you were able to tie the game at the end of the third.
I mean, hell yeah. I hope it did, or at least I tried.
Like schematically, the Dallas' defense has been really good for the last 2.5 months. Like the way you're talking about playing, like getting up the ball, just moving it. Is that the best way to kind of render the way teams load up? Moot almost?
I think so. I think that you play into their hands when you hold the ball, when you dribble out the clock. You're fighting against the shot clock. I thought that was the issue we had a little bit tonight, where we were looking up and we had 10, 11 seconds on the clock, and at that point you have to force something instead of just being in action early, playing with a little bit more force going downhill and making plays, which we're capable of doing. Like I said, the last couple games we're more than capable of making these adjustments and making these reads, and we got to want to do it. We got to want to do it every single time against a defense like this, who's very long, athletic, smart, and calculated in what they do.
We've seen like when you lose 3 games, like in very close fashion like this, as a veteran, can that seep into the minds of a young team when it gets down to 4 minutes left and it's a close game and you don't have the positive reinforcement that we can beat this team when the game gets close? Do you see that?
I could say it'd be the opposite. If you were winning those games, you would feel confident when you look up and you look, 4 minutes left and you've been winning the games, you're going to think positive thoughts. And I think I can't speak for every person, but I'm sure we're looking up and say, how are we going to win this one? How we got to figure it out. This is a moment of the game where we got to be tight and together and figure it out. Obviously, it's on our minds because for the majority of this series, I felt like we've given ourselves a chance. We've given ourselves leads. We've given ourselves opportunities, and we know what part of the game we need to be better at. And the part that's going to win us the game is going to be that fourth quarter.
For the three of you, especially, I think in the first half, maybe you're struggling maybe to score the ball a little bit, and I felt like Cat was especially more aggressive, and Ant, you were especially facilitating the ball around. Was there something you could take away from that third quarter to for your offensive rhythm, or just what was working there?
I don't think I was on the court, so it might be for y'all too. But no, just getting into our actions and getting good shots. We didn't shoot the ball as well as we would like to too. But in that spurt, I think we were doing a good job of getting into our actions, playing with pace. We obviously could play with a little more pace, but we were getting the shots we like. We just got to convert. That's just what it comes down to. Sometimes the NBA game comes down to making or missing shots, and we just got to make more shots and still work hard to get good shots. You know what I'm saying?
When you guys were in your two-man game and you're doing a lot of respacing, is it harder to respace when they're filling gaps and being a little bit tenser up there, or is it easier to respace, or is it just a different way?
Even when we was respacing and we was getting to our spots, we just wasn't knocking the shots down. So, I mean, at the end of the day, they're going to be in the gaps even more the more we miss. We didn't shoot the ball well from three tonight at all. Yeah, I didn't make one. Nope, nobody shot well but Jaden and Mike from three. And, and if we keep shooting like that, then they just going to keep being in the gaps. So no matter how we respace and get back out to the three-point line, if we don't knock them down, they're going to sit in the gaps all night.
Man, what in that box score stands out to you? See?
31 to 17. They had 31 free throws. We had 17.
Do you think the physicality that was emphasized in the second half of the season, they seemed like the refs were allowing you guys to play a little more hands, a little more with the body? There was foul trouble. I think you guys won a penalty with maybe 8 minutes. Is it inconsistency, Mike? You were in foul trouble. What did you see? How did you see? I won't say the game being called. I'm not trying to get you in trouble, but did you feel it being a little different tonight?
Man, you trying, ain't you?
I promise I'm not.
No, honestly, a lot of my fouls were fouls, I thought. But it's about consistency on both ends. Yeah. Yes, that's all we asked for at the end of the day. If I foul, I foul the jump shooter. I've done it 2 or 3 times this series.
Don't call the hands on when Mike fouled and just call it down there.
That's all
we asked for.
It's just consistency. Yeah. And if
they
we
did
get
a great job tonight. We just asked for the same calls down there.
Yep.
And it's not unusual for teams have been throwing a lot of defensive attention at you all season, and especially in these playoffs. Why has this series has that proven more difficult to overcome?
Like I said, I mean, we're not knocking the shot. Like, we've been knocking the shots down all the whole playoffs. Denver series, the Phoenix series, we was making all the shots. So it's harder to, do what you do when we knocking them down. But when we're not knocking them down, it's easier to crowd the paint. I was getting to the rim today, and it was just like 4 people in there, So they make it tough, man. They did a great job. Shout out to them.
Do you feel like you had the same burst in the fourth that you did in the third?
Yeah.
What do you guys have to do to get Carl going offensively in game 4?
I think Cat gotta just do a better job of getting back to maybe his old self, finding himself around the basket more, rim running, taking advantage of mismatches. He's obviously a really good player and he's big time for us. So, we need him to get going. So it's our job to, put him in the right position. And then the threes will fall. Yeah. But I think if he gets back to rim running or catching the ball on the block and, taking his time and going to finish, they got nothing for him. So, you just got to put him in the right, situations.
That's about Ant's leadership. Seemed really vocal after in the locker room, but what does that say about him that he's trying to get you guys up?
No, it says a lot. He's a guy that not only is trying to get guys going, keeping guys positive, but he'll be on himself, be the first one to say, he didn't have it or didn't bring it or didn't, should have did this better, that better. So he's holding himself accountable. It's something all of us can look up to and look at ourselves in the mirror and hold ourselves accountable. To have him do that at 22 years old is impressive. And, we wouldn't be in this position right now without that kind of leadership.
Thanks, guys.
I try to score alongside of him. and we were, the whole series we've struggled to close games. Those, these 3-minute games that we're playing, we're losing them. And, it starts with a kind of a mental breakdown on a left corner 3 by Washington when the game's tied, and that gives them just enough breathing room. And, then we didn't execute very well. We didn't find the open guy very well down the stretch. And when we had open looks, they were nowhere near going in. So it's been the story of the series.
The third quarter, the offense was really humming. What was the biggest reason you think for kind of the
quicker? We got to the paint when the rim was open. We got to the kick out when the kick out was open. We just less holding. We had we had some good, some of our quicker decision makers out there. That certainly helped it. So.
At this point, Coach, what can you tell the team to get them back into this thing? Is it just like, let's go out and win one game, see what happens, or what do you do?
I mean, I just told them we keep fighting. We fight. We've been fighting all series. We're not going to stop fighting. I mean, we'll look at it. We'll build it back up. We'll be ready to go on Tuesday and see what happens from there. So.
Coach, what do you think about Ant? Kind of had a breakthrough in the third, but it still wasn't enough to carry on.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to play with that burst a little bit more. That's what has been missing, and I think that was key to everything. And for us to kind of get some rhythm going our offense, we were able to get to the heart of their defense a little bit quicker. So,
maybe in the moment here, but is Ant learning something here in terms of how you have to play late in games, especially when Luka and Kyrie are doing some of the things that they're doing?
Every player is different, every player has different skill sets. Everybody's, so you're not going to necessarily model your game after another player. But yeah, of course he's learning. My God, he's 22 years old, Western Conference Finals, got a lot on his shoulders. We expect a lot out of him. But yeah, this is what it is. This is a learning experience for him. But we're trying to win basketball games too. So, and just in general, we'll look at the plays that we did and didn't make down the stretch. And there just was some sloppy execution there too. I thought, in a few sets coming out of timeout. So we got to be better.
What do you think of Cat's run?
I thought he struggled. Of course, it's hard to watch with at times, but he had enough buckets here and there. Kind of staying defensively in the second half. I was really pleased with the way he played. Rebounded pretty well. But yeah, it's, he's struggling. There's no doubting that right now. So
the 3-point shooting for him over 8 is he rushing? Is he doing anything, or is it just a matter of shots just not going in?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the other day he rushed. I didn't think he rushed today. So just, it's, probably a question that's better asked to him because he's the one shooting them. He got a couple good looks and, needed those to go down, particularly early in the game.
Why was Kyle so effective, do you think?
He's a smart offensive player. Probably should have played him more, to be honest with you. And just understands what's going on in the game and how to unlock some good offense for his teammates, and then by doing so he's crafty enough to be able to benefit himself. So
Chris, your whole season has been predicated on your defense. Is it deflating just even when you take them right down to the last seconds of a shot clock and they find a way?
Yeah, we're not able to get stops. Our one-on-one we haven't been very good. We're battling. It's tough to watch Jaden, man. There's a lot of contact there. Luka dictates a lot of contact, and then we get a little bit of contact, and then, he gets whistled for a cheap foul. It's not a foul. I mean, and Ant's trying to go by people, and it's the same amount of body contact that we doesn't get that whistle. So, it's frustrating. So we got to play with the smarter physicality, and but we got to find a way to get stops down the stretch. So.
Chris, defensively, how much Luka and Kyrie try to attack the basket, but it seemed like Dallas got a lot of open corner threes. They was the tough balance of wanting to try to clog the paint, but then leaving your man open on the wing.
Yeah. Yes, we came out. We were going to be aggressive on those two guys. They threw the ball around. They made a lot of great plays, and then all the other guys started throwing in threes. So, it's been tough for us to try to navigate that. We're kind of been picking our poison here a little bit. So, and at times in the game, you got to do different things. So
has that been a thing, especially with lineups, like it seems like if you go with more offensive lineup, they go on a scoring run. They try to put more defense out there. That offense can come tough to come by.
I mean, a little bit. I mean, it doesn't feel so much like that. I mean, there might be opportunities, there might be times when, they certainly when we pull Rudy off the floor, they kind of put their head down and get to the hoop, but.
Better with Mike out there and not defensively right now, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's, there's a lot of physicality on the ball and, we got to be a little bit better there, so.
Chris, you switched Ant off of Kyrie. It looked like Conley was kind of the primary in that one, and then also kind of had the corner guys coming over a little bit more. It seemed like some defensive adjustments. How did you think some of the defensive adjustments you did in Game 3 kind of played out?
Well, we moved Ant off, so we have because we were going to start up with 2 on the ball and pick and roll, so we wanted as much size as a low man, so that's why we brought Mike to the top of the floor. And then, our rotations in the first half were pretty rusty. I mean, the very first 3, we help off the strong side corner, and that's not something that we normally do. So, game plan mistake right out of the gate. Can't have that. We cleaned it up a little bit at halftime. We were a little bit better. I thought we were a little more aggressive, kind of shrunk the paint a little bit better, even when we were aggressive on the ball. But then it was about containing penetration, which we didn't do a good job of. So,
Chris, we all know that a team never came back from a 3-0 situation. What do you tell the guys now to keep their head ups and to go with the right mindset into Game 4?
Yeah, I mean, we got to keep fighting. I mean, we got to win Game 4 here. So it's also all matters. Win Game 4, push the series back and to Minneapolis, and that's all we can do.